Hey, how you going? This is Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to me video. Today we're going to do a bit of a snow scene, but it's going to be at night time, and I'll probably do another one later on in the daytime, but this one will be really nice and bright colours that sort of give you a bit of a slap in the face and go, wow, I like that painting. And the way I'm going to teach it today is the way I would do it. So this is a few different ways to get layers done before we come forward, okay? And I'll get the size up there for those people in centimetres and inches, and have some colours going up the screen as well. So you can pause it and write them down and watch the whole video if you're a beginner and see what we're going to be doing, so you'll know what you're painting at the end of it all, and you'll know if I've made any mistakes, you won't make the same, all right? All right. So come on over here and I'll show you the way I want to paint this painting, all right? Now, I've got the area of the cabin here. We'll call this a lodge or a cabin where the windows are. So I want to create the light colours inside the cabin, bring the cabin over that. We're going to mask that up and then paint our painting over it and then reveal the cabin again at the end. All right? So there's a few bits and pieces we're going to need for this. So play around with this. I'm going to use the yellow oxide. I've got titanium white out of a tube, and we'll see if we'll need a bit of Indian yellow. So I'm going to dampen my brush into some retarder. This is going to help it. I don't want too much here. We're just going to get the blending going for the lights in the cabin. So I'm going to start with the white. I've got the retarder into the brush there, dip it a bit more, get some in there. So we've got it's not going to be scrumbly blending, it's going to be beautiful and wet looking blending. So I've laid out here where my windows are, so I'm going to get this where the windows are, and we've got that white. Put a bit more on there. In there, okay. Now, we don't have to wipe the brush, but I'm going to pick up some of the, let's try the yellow oxide. And I want to, this is the light inside. Now I'm blending that with the white. See how it's picking up the white? The value's changing to a lighter colour. And if I need to add more white, I will. Now I'm going to, I'll get that blended right in. Okay, because the cabin's going to be pretty much that colour as well, so we want a bit more yellowy white in there. So I'll just wipe that brush on some paper toweling there. A little bit, not too much, retarder in there. And let's try the Indian yellow now, and let's see if that's going to give us the light source inside the cabin. Okay, I can still see where my windows are, and we want vibrant light in there. So we're mixing up a few different values here. Let's pick up some white. Oh yeah, look at it, bring out that white and the Indian yellow. They go beautiful together. You can practice just this colour procedure on some cardboard somewhere until you're happy with it, and use that as your light source. I want more white now. I'm picking up more white. There was more than enough Indian yellow there. This is just going to be the lights inside the cabin. And then we've got to get a hairdryer and dry all this. And before I dry it, I've washed that brush and dried it, wiped it in a paper towel, because I want a bit more white in that yellow. Let's get it in there. It's very thick. You could dry it. That's why I say practice it on. This is the first time I'm doing this. So we're going to dry that now, and we'll add a bit more white. Okay, I've dried it. Now it's not 100% dry. It's a bit tacky. I want to be able to get some scrumbling happening, so I'll put some of this on there. I don't want to turn that yellow into white now. I want it scrumbly. See there? And get the brightness and the yellow. You still want to see the yellow. And then that's pretty much it. We've got some beautiful, that white has turned into a soft lemony white, and you can see the yellow through it still. So it's not just one colour, it's a bit of iridescent coming through the windows. That's what we want. Now we want to dry that completely now because we've got to put the picture over it and mask over it when it's done. All right, that's dry. Now you can use any cabin drawing for this, so long as it's got windows in that's going to let the light through. If you look at the links below, there's one to my Facebook page. You can message me on my Facebook and ask me for the traceable for this cabin. All right, and check the other links out as well. All my paintings are for sale, all my tutorial paintings, okay? So if you do not have carbon paper, I've put the cabin against the window and I've got a dark lead pencil, graphite pencil, and I've just scribbled on the outline so I can place that on there and press it onto our surface here, okay? And this video, we've got a special guest at the end telling me when it's time to whack a frame on it. Marilyn Lynch. Hello, Marilyn Lynch. She'll be coming in later on from Arnold, Missouri. All right, so look out for that towards the end of the video. So we've got the cabin traced on the lighted area. Now what we're going to do, you can either paint the cabin in, dry it again and mask it up, but that's doing a lot of nonsense. I want to mask this up now and paint the painting over it, so when we unmask that, we can actually lay the cabin on top of the background, okay? Where if we do it now and tape over it, there might be gaps around the edge and you'll have to fiddle around, and a beginner doesn't want to fiddle around. A beginner just wants to splish, splash and make it happen. All right, I've put me low tack masking tape on it now. You don't want a full tack because you don't want to pull out that light colour when we pull it off. I've pushed it on reasonably firm because it's not a very high tacky tape, and I've got my box cutter, X-Acto knife, scalpel, and cut around here. It doesn't matter if you sink into your canvas a little bit because your paint's going to fill it up. That's why it's best to do this bit now instead of later as well. And now the bottom of this cabin is our horizon line, so you work out where you want your horizon line. I'm going probably midgy-didge under middle, and we're going to get all this ready now like it's a blank canvas ready to go, and at the end we can detail our cabin. All right, let's get on to the fun part. Now, we want a night sky. I've got phthalo blue and dioxazine purple, and I'm going to condition my canvas with some flow white paint. It's just a craft paint, poster paint, hobby paint, and some retarder. And I'm going to use my 2-inch synthetic flat blending brush. Well, it's not a blending brush, but my 2-inch flat brush. And now we don't want this, we're just going to put this on not as much as I normally do for a sky. So we want to let's do the top half first. So just, now be careful when painting around your masking tape as well. Don't be blazing and just go crazy. You know, you're going to make sure it doesn't get under there. So we'll just do the sky half first so we've got time to get to the bottom later. Because I want this to be a beautiful night sky. So I'm just going for phthalo blue and dioxazine purple. If you have another colour, you want to change it, by all means, mix and match it up and play with it, make it your own. Okay, I'll go across the canvas that way, and I want to clean this brush now so I can get some darker colours on there. And see, I've dried that paint under there. If I didn't, that could be coming through. Now I've cleaned my flat brush. Now our main flavour is the phthalo blue. So we're going to just, I haven't got any retarder in there. It's on the white on the board. And then we're going to use the dioxazine purple to make it darker where we need it to be darker. So let's get our night sky in. Don't get lost and think you're doing a daytime sky and put it lighter at the bottom. Let's just get this bombed on there. Careful with your tape, like I said. Now this is going to be a night scene, but it's a snowy, wintry night scene. So I want to get this brushed reasonably even. All right, I've cleaned that brush again. Now I'll pick up the dioxazine purple. I love this brush that I'm using. It's just a flat, cheap synthetic one from the hardware store, but it doesn't muck around. It gets the paint on there real quick. And we want to get, let's at least say, the corners dark. So I can use that side of the brush there, okay. Now I'll do this side over here. And let's see if we can run some across the top. There we go. Bit of darkness throughout that blue. Now I'm going to wipe that. We'll just wipe it. And we'll use this brush to stroke all that darkness into our sky there. Don't go too heavy, just work it out. I'll get some of that down a bit and up. Work it out and then finish it off going across your canvas. Now we're going to add some stars. So I've got some water down here on my palette and I'm picking up the good titanium white. And we want to get this to a consistency where we can flick it, but we want it to flick as dots, not blobs. So let's just try it. I'll give it a... Yeah, that's going to work beautifully. I've got it. Okay. And we'll give our sky some stars. And remember, if you want a moon in here, put a moon in it. The stars go first, then the moon. Don't put a moon behind the stars. Okay, let's try this. And as always, I always like to put a concentrated band of stars in my sky, just to indicate the Milky Way, so to speak. Okay, you want a moon? Add a moon in there. Let's get our grey onto our pouncer. I've got no moon layout stencil this size, so I'm just using a pouncer. So I want to try and make it a basic, simple one. Yeah, that'll do. I've just got mid-tone grey out of a tube. If you don't have it in a tube, just mix yourself up a light colour grey. Work out where you want your moon. It's probably going to have to be a full moon because of the pouncer. Let's see how that went. A bit watery. I put a bit too much water on it, so I'm going to get a bit more of the grey without the water. This should thicken it up. Let's try that again. Beautiful. Now I'll give it a bit of a twist just to get it on there. I don't know if I told you, but I did dry the canvas. Now I've cleaned that pouncer. I've got the grey as the base of the moon, so it's going to be the highlight. So obviously this pouncer is my moon. I'm just going to put on here the white roughly where I want it to be mainly highlighted. Okay. Bit over there won't hurt. I like to have a dark side of the moon, give it a bit more sense of niceness. Just that little added value of bullshit adds to your painting. Dots on there, so you pretty much see where I want my highlight to be. Alright, so we'll put the moon. Which side can the light be? Can probably be on this side because I'm going to have some trees there. I didn't dry the grey, I should have dried it. But there's our moon, highlighted and everything. Pretty simple, wasn't it, eh? Now I've dried all this and I've scratched a line here. That's the bottom of where the cabin is, and that's pretty much our horizon line all the way across there. And we've got a basic, simple, effective moon. So now I've got the dioxine purple and the phthalo blue, and I want to mix a bit of them together, get it dark, just something different from black, and I'll see how it looks against our sky there. It's mainly dioxine purple, but with a bit of phthalo blue in there. And I've just got it on both sides of a fan brush. And like there's, I'll just put some dots there so we've got a visual of where the bottom is, okay? This just helps you out. Now we want to put a row of trees here. So we'll get them in there. Come off the page. Get some light ones in the background. And try and find a brush. Practice this. This is a procedure you can practice. You want some points on them. So we can come down and get some up here. Come off the painting. And we'll put a big blob here. There we go. I'll keep flattening my brush on the palette down there so as I'm getting a point, because I'm using the fan brush. I'm going to get the smallest bit of white just there. See what I've done? Just something minimal. See the difference between those two? give those some moonlit features on top of these and putting some in front, so because the moon's out, it's a full moon lighting up the snow ground out in the cabin there, wherever they are, just to break up the solidness of it all. I don't want to go too bright though, and then we'll put some trunks in there. Now I'm using the fan brush because it's scratchy, and I'm pulling on both sides of it. I'm getting it into the edge there because we want to just give it a quick dose of some trunks in there, all right? So where's our horizon line? There it is there. So we're gonna, let me just practice here. Yeah, just want to scratch up. That's it, just like that. Nice straight lines. There's me horizon here. Okay, I'm picking up some more. I'll start from the bottom, and that's it. We don't want to go all the way up to the top of them. These are, if anything, down the bottom. Okay, just like that all the way along, and that'll do it. I've blow dried all this because I don't want this purple killing my white down here, so I've got some more of this flow white again. Now we're going to work on the bottom half of the painting. So I've got a little bit of retarder into that craft paint. I'll get all this painted here before I get to that purple in case I contaminate it all. Just something we're going to get some movement in our colours. That's why I'm putting this on. Now there's our horizon line, which is there and there. And I'm going to wash this brush so we can put our moonlit snow down there. Now bringing you back down to the palette, I've gone and cleaned that brush. Now we're just going to use the phthalo blue down the bottom now. No retarder. We're going to get this, and we've got some white over here as well, ready to rock and roll. So let's get our horizon now. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit arched, because this is following the lay of the land. Now I don't want that white line that way. I haven't gone high enough. I've got to pick up more of me phthalo blue there. Let's get that to the height where we want it. So we just got those white trunks that we put in there sticking up. No horizontal lines. There we go. This is just the phthalo blue now. We're not putting any dioxine. All the darkness is in our sky where we wanted it. And those row of trees are done. Let me look in my monitor. Yeah, so now we're just going to, I'm slowly getting some. We'll paint this in. See, that white's going to allow it to move across the canvas nicely. And then bits of this we got to glare up for like the lay of the land where the snow is. It's got shadows in it. It's got dark pockets and light pockets. So I'll get that on there. And I could see where our cabin is. We want some glare coming from the cabin as well. I want to fix this up a little bit. There's a hard line there. That's it. Play with your work, analyse it, and if it needs playing with it, you're the boss of it. Don't feel like, oh, am I doing the right thing or not? Learn from what you do. All right, I'll just wipe the bulk off that. Where are we? And pick up some of the white, the titanium white out of the tube on both sides of my brush. And you can see where your cabin is. We want this glare to be shining out of there because the lights are on, okay? So we've pretty much got from underneath. This is going to still mix with that blue and taint it a bit, so it's not going to be pure white. And we just want a bit of white glare there coming across there. Some of it can shoot across there. Doesn't matter if you go up into that tape because that's where your cabin is. And if you feel, oh, that brush is a bit big and bulky, Ian, you grab yourself a smaller one. Okay, and we might have some of it shimmering across here as well. Okay. Looks like snot at the moment, but now all we've got to do is give that some horizontal pullment. And what I mean by that, I've cleaned that brush and I want to pull the paint horizontally, just so as everything's going to sit the way it should. And we've got the snow being hit by the light. Let me look in the monitor. Not too bad. I think I might have it a bit too bright here and there, so I'm just pulling up some more of the phthalo blue, and I want to get some of this. Play with it until you think it's done, and if you think it's done, stop playing with it. It's so easy to see it. Look, I'm just pulling up bits of dark down the bottom here. Because we just want it like the snow at night time. Everything's dry on the canvas. Now I've got a thick number 6 liner, and I'm just going to put in a tree or two. So we want something on this side, and I'm just going to twist it, and just something setting everything back, okay? Now I've got the main branches there. I've picked up my deer foot, and it's a bit damp, and I want to get some of this to create a lot of dense, dry twigs and sticks within that foliage of that dead tree, okay? I don't want it blobbing like that on there. We want it open like that on the canvas. I've just blow dried that so I don't go ruining all those branches that I've just put on there. And let's start finding all our busy twigs within this tree, and this can create the shape. Now I want to look in the monitor and just see how that's looking for busyness. Okay, I want to highlight some of them, but before I do, I'm just grabbing a small lining brush, and I want to get some highlight on the tree before we sink it back. So I'm just picking up some of this dirty white down here. Doesn't have to be pure white. And twist your brush into it. I've got it wet. Not too wet, but enough to just get some spunky highlights on here. I'm just coming all off the left side here. Let's hope this isn't killing it. Sometimes I feel, oh, I shouldn't have done those highlights. How's that looking in the monitor? Yeah, see, I don't really like that, but it's there now. I'll see if I can kill them down a bit. I've just wiped all that paint off the brush and kept the brush a bit damp. But we're going to highlight the foliage, so I better try and, yeah, I'll just do it like that. All right, that'll do. Now I'm grabbing that deer foot, which had the black there. I'll just damp it a bit more so I've got more movement. Had the black there. Let's pick up some of that white. Do it over this side so we can see the difference. A bit more. Just so you can see the two difference. So our moon's there. Let's just brighten up that side. Just like that, see? That side only. Make your bushes within your tree. Any mistakes, cover them up with that. See, so I'm just making, see, now I'll put one here. I don't like this, so I'm going to try and go over that. Something bold in the middle there. That'll do, I'm happy with that. I don't really like these bright bits. I might darken them up laterwards, okay? All right, everything's done. Now grab yourself a picker, something quite sharp, so we can just get under the edge of our masking tape there. And let's carefully pull it off. Even though it's low tack, still be careful with it. And then we're going to just paint that cabin over those lighted up areas. Okay, we're coming to the home stretch. Now I want to put the dark colours on and bring it lighter. I've got raw umber. We're going to keep with our yellow oxide and got some white. So we'll get this on there. Now I'm using a flat brush because I find it's good to get like corners, like for cabins and stuff. So I want to block it in and leave the windows though. So it's important to get the windows nice and sharp like this. I'll get rid of my pencil line so you won't see that. I shouldn't have put that line down there because that could have been done with paint. I didn't need a line there to guide me for that part. But when you trace your cabin on or draw your cabin on, don't do these. I didn't do them there, but for some reason I did them on the top window. So we're going to pretty much block this in. I just put a bit of low tack tape against the bottom there because I don't want to accidentally get any of that into the ground that I've already done. Otherwise I'll have a job trying to repair it. Now I've got the yellow oxide here now. Same brush, all cleaned up, and we'll try and get our lighter values on that cabin done now. So I want this part of the gable, because it's got an overhang gable here. So I want some light under there. Take your time. And now I want to, this brown, I want it to be scrumbled with this colour because that brown's too dark. So see, there's another thing I just thought of. That's why it pays to watch the video. You know, when I pulled the tape off, you could have cut the window area out, left that on there, which would have made for a better tight finish to all your opened areas. So see what I'm doing? I'm blending that yellow oxide in with the raw umber there. And I just want to crisp up that edge there. We've got some darkness within here, light darkness, which is pretty much this stuff here. This is just silhouetting whatever's inside the big windows there. And see, I'm glad I put that tape down the bottom. It's allowed me to do this with ease. We're pretty much, because it's such a bright window at night, you can see right in there, so I hope no one's doing anything in there they shouldn't be doing. And this is just pretty much adding some different elements within the light in there. I've just put a little bit of black with that raw umber just to get this outline here. Come up there. And you can whack these lines in wherever you want. And I've got this paint reasonably wet and inky. Alright, I'll finish that off. Okay, we're just about finished this little sweetheart. Let me grab this tape off here nice and gently. I don't want to rip our paint off. Oh, I might have pressed it a bit hard. I'll have to doctor that up. That's why it's a low tack tape. That's a high tack tape would have ripped that paint right off. Anyway, so now we want to get the snow on the roof. So I want my titanium white, but I want some of it contaminated with the phthalo blue. Okay. And I've also put a bit of dark just around here, so there'll be dark between the wall and the snow on the roof. So we want to get that over that dark, but just leave the littlest bit there, you see? See what I'm doing? And then the same along here. And then what I'm virtually doing is the edges. Because all this roof will be mapped in with this snow colour, and then we can use pure white to highlight it. Okay, I'm looking at it and I probably want it a little bit more bluer. So we'll come up here. And we've got something. Okay, we've pretty much got our snow. Now we just want a bit of intense glare around here. So I've got the same brush and I just want to dirty it, just the slightest, dirtiest white. Don't want it pure white. And we want to, well, I'm going to fix up those bits that come off, and just right against the bottom there, we want to give a sense of a bit more brighter light coming out of the cabin. Okay, so you don't want this paint too wet, you want it kind of scrumbly. So we're going to come along here. And I'm going to let it scrumble out to nothing. If you go over your tree, just put the tree back in front of the glare. All right, now maybe there is some high and low areas here, so we've got the light, you know, like it does in water. I'm just trying to do that here, but I won't do it too much. Leave it alone, Ian. Okay, we can keep mucking around with this until the cows come home, but I want to get an autograph on it, and after I autograph it, we'll cross over to Marilyn Lynch. From Arnold, Missouri. And she'll be telling me when it's time to put a frame on it, because we're nearly up to that stage now. And like I always say, check out the links, buy my art. You support me and my content when you're buying my art. And there is a donate link down there if you just want to support me in any way. You can click that link. It's all done through PayPal. Right, let's go over and see what Marilyn's up to.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Lynch. I'm from Arnold, Missouri. That's in the United States. And I'm sitting here getting ready to play in some paint. But first, I think it's time for Ian to whack a frame on it. Good on ya.
Okay, thanks for that. That was Marilyn Lynch from Arnold in Missouri. So we'll put this frame on here and see how she looks, because it's that time of the painting. There we go, they don't look too shabby. We've got a night, snowing night scene, a moon in the sky, some lighting elements, and the lights are on in the cabin there. Not too shabby, eh? And once again, thank you to Marilyn Lynch from Arnold, Missouri. Share, like and subscribe, and check out the links in the description below, okay? Thank you very much for watching me. Tell your friends if you like what I'm doing, but if you don't, you tell everybody, okay? All the best, goodbye, good luck, good on ya.